What's up, guys? Welcome back to PricePlow. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my new favorite brain health and nootropic formula that I use every single day, and one that hopefully you'll consider trying as well, Revive Brain Plus. Now, I like this formula for a couple different reasons, and we will get to the formula, but just to kind of give you an overview of why I enjoy it so much. This may seem really simple and small, but a lot of nootropics include stimulants, which kind of pigeonholes them a little bit hard into when you can use them. So the first main thing I like about it is that it's stimulant free. So if you're like me and you drink like some super coffee in the morning, or if the mid-afternoon you want to drink an energy drink, it's easy to mix in with it because you want to have a compound of stimulants. If there's caffeine in the energy drink, caffeine in the nootropic, that can be a little bit too much for some people. And so I like the versatility of that. Some other things that I like about it, though, are the ingredient quality. They did not skimp on quite a few different areas that we're going to get into. And also, it focuses on actual brain health and not just focus in the acute. This product used over time will have a lot more benefits than just studying a little bit harder at the time. Now, as with all things Revive, we know that it's BSCG certified. It's got the little stamp of approval on there. It's actually the new branding, which doesn't help the quality at all, but I love the new label, the tactile response to it. And there's a few different quality control assurances that you get when you order Revive. So with that all said, let's jump in and talk about the ingredients in Brain and why personally I am using it so frequently. So let's take a look at the ingredients inside of Brain by Revive. So sometimes we skip over the vitamins and minerals in these formulas, but I think today, as part of one of the topics that I brought up at the beginning, ingredient quality, it's important to talk about where these vitamins and minerals are coming from. So you'll see right at the top, you got niacin, vitamin B6, folate, and B12. Now, these things are all important in general for actual brain health, but the actual sources of them matter in this case. For instance, they're using P5P over pyridoxine for B6. Overusage of pyridoxine can lead to neuropathy, and it can actually inhibit B6 dependent enzymes, which can actually lower the absorbability of B6. Ironically, taking in that type of B6 can actually make your body have less B6 inside of itself. So P5P is super important. We see this changed over recently in a lot of multivitamins towards a more quality source, which can help out with a lot of neurotransmitter signaling, energy conversion, and metabolism functioning. Now, we're also looking at a folate source from Mthf at 200 micrograms. Now, folate is very important for a lot of things like cell division, DNA synthesis and repair, as well as blood cell maturation. So similar to P5P, 5-MTHF is going to be the active source of folate as opposed to something like folic acid. Now, second to last here, we've got methylcobalamin as well as adenosylcobalamin. These are sources for vitamin B12, which is important again for energy conversion as well. But the actual deficiency of B12 can lead to a lot of different issues that could be manifested in the brain, such as depression, cognitive impairment, as well as a few neurological issues and anemia. Folate and B12 are synergistic when taken together, so it's awesome to see them included together on this formula. Lastly, we have a favorite for lots of parts of this industry for a lot of different reasons, niacin. Like I said, there's several different usages for niacin in the body. However, in this case with Brain, we're really looking at it for NAD plus production, which is going to yield some improved energy states. And so that brings us into the fun part of talking about active ingredients. Now, the first one in here is very different from what we're normally looking at, lithium. Lithium, we've got at 400 micrograms. Now, lithium can be seen as a drug in a lot of different areas, but in this case, as lithium orothate, it's actually a mineral, and an essential mineral at that. Long story short, lithium is a mood stabilizer. It's been used for a lot of different things, and if I remember correctly, actually can help people who are on LSD stop tripping, which is kind of an interesting thing here, but it's a very important mood stabilizer. Now, there's a couple different studies cited in the blog, which I do want to call your attention to. Like I always say, if you want the full deep dive on all the data, we have everything cited in the blog. One thing that Mike, during his research, found that I thought was particularly interesting was a study from 1978 to 1987 on 27 different Texas counties. Now, obviously, this is a hit home for Mike because he's from Texas, but they found that counties whose water supply contained little or no lithium had significantly higher rates of suicide, drug addiction, and violent crimes. This was further demonstrated once again in 2013 in Texas. Less lithium in the water correlated more suicide. A similar study again in Japan later on was also showing less suicide levels around greater lithium levels in water. And other research in Japan actually led researchers to conclude that low dose lithium uptake promotes longevity in humans and metazoans, which is actually the title of this paper. So how does lithium actually work? Well, similar to another ingredient that we talk about a lot, neurofactor, it actually increases brain-derived neurotrophic factor, as well as IGF, which could interest some athletes, but we're mostly looking at the BDNF here. So 400 micrograms here actually is a nice low beginner dosage for the ingredient, but like we saw in the Japan study, low doses of it were important for improving well-being and happiness. So after that interesting new ingredient, we're moving into something that we're a little bit more used to seeing, choline sources. Now, I do have to say, if you get the original product, which is probably, I think it's probably sold out by now, but if you do get the original label, this is going to look a little bit different than the newer label. There's two different sources of choline in here, and I thought that the original one was a little bit more confusing. So we're referencing the new label, which is going to be more evergreen. If you're looking at this content from, months or years from now, you'll most likely see the new label. What it contains is 600 milligrams of alpha GPC at 50% and 250 milligrams of cytidylcholine. Now, this is an impressive and fantastic blend of cholines. Both of these have different yields and different things that they actually can help out with, and we're excited to see both of them included. Now, choline is critically required to create acetylcholine within the body. It's known as the learning neurotransmitter. Choline is also helpful for the structural integrity of cell membranes and some other stuff, but mostly we're really looking at it for the acetylcholine here. Alpha GPC is cool because it crosses the blood-brain barrier. It's been shown not only to increase cognition, but also power output in some cases. That performance power output claim is actually specifically on 600 milligrams, so this actual dosage in brain is specifically pointing towards that. Now, cytidylcholine works a little bit different. It actually can increase norepinephrine, which is a fight or flight neurotransmitter, as well as dopamine, which is a neurotransmitter that it works on motivation, as well as feelings of accomplishment. So after we pass by that huge blend there, we're looking at acetyl carnitine at 500 milligrams. Again, acetyl carnitine, similar to alpha GPC, can cross the blood-brain barrier, which is important for carnitine. Now, carnitine, we see a lot of fat burning benefits for obese or overtrained individuals, but in this case, acetyl carnitine helps out a lot with focus and mental functioning. Now, most of those athletic benefit studies are at the 2 grams, but 500 milligrams here we're seeing in this formula is kind of where we start to feel it in terms of nootropic benefits. Like I mentioned before about long-term effects from this product, we also see some neuroprotective benefits from acetyl carnitine. So it's kind of an interesting short-term and long-term ingredient that we're happy to see added in. Now, piggybacking off of the cytidylcholine, we again have tyrosine here, which also helps with the creation of some different neurotransmitters, similarly to cytidylcholine, like norepinephrine and dopamine, but also includes epinephrine here. When levels of these neurotransmitters are low, we normally see lower reaction times, as well as impaired performance. So we want to make sure that we have these at healthy levels if you're going to be competing, performing, or just studying or working. Now, 500 milligrams here, this is where we begin to start to feel the benefits. Obviously, sometimes we've seen larger doses, and we always do like to see big doses, but in a formula like this where you're really just getting ready to work and you have some other ingredients that are doing similar things in similar pathways, we don't necessarily always want to see the biggest dose possible, and anecdotally, we felt really great benefits from this, so we're sure that there's some sort of synergy between them. After we hit that, we move into a very personally favorite ingredient of mine, Rhodiola. Now, this Rhodiola is standardized more for rosivins than for salicylicides. I normally like to see a lot of salicylicides, but there is still a 1% standardization for it here, as well as a 3% standardization for rosivins. Now, Rhodiola is an adaptogen that helps out with a lot of different things. One special thing I like to see is lowering mental and physical fatigue. Now, this could help out if you are a heavy trainer every day, you're getting up the next day and you need to go to work, and you're trying to fight off that fog from dieting and training difficulty. But also, it's worth noting that the study found that 200 milligrams of Rhodiola in just 14 days, which is less than what we actually have in this product, saw significant reductions in anxiety, stress, anger, confusion, and depression, with an overall mood improvements reported. Another study with 101 subjects took, again, 200 milligrams twice per day and reported reduced stress, and it even began working within 3 days of taking it. So we see really big benefits, and that's why Mike and I are huge on Rhodiola. Anytime we can get some of it, we're big fans of it. Now, at 300 milligrams here, they're sporting a pretty nice dosage, so we're happy with it, and it fits into the product pretty well. After that, we get ALA here, alpha lipoic acid, at 250 milligrams. Now, piggybacking off of the tyrosine and the cytidylcholine, ALA actually helps out with the reuptake of acetylcholine. So not only are we creating more of these neurotransmitters, but then we also increase the reuptake of it, making it more intense. We don't see it very often in nootropics, but there are some blood sugar protection benefits in here, which I'm sure Mike would talk a lot about with how sugar affects the brain and our mental functions. But I'm mostly looking at it for the acetylcholine reuptake here. Now, rounding out on the end, we've got phosphatidylserine here in an interesting trademark version that I haven't seen before, a sharp PS green at 100 milligrams. Phosphatidylserine helps out with a lot of different things. Specifically, one, helps out with cortisol reduction, but it does have some great mental function benefits as well. So I see it as a dual benefit. We're lowering stress and also improving function alongside of all the other mental function products. Part of functioning well is not worrying about other things. And that cortisol protection here is a big factor. If you're a worrier like me, you can be easily distracted from work, and I see that as a huge benefit. Last two ingredients here, we have PQQ and saffron, two interesting ingredients that we don't often see in formulas. Now, saffron leads to increased serotonin activity in the body, which can help with actually appetite suppression a lot in fat burning ingredients. But here we're looking at it for a different purpose, I think. There's an incredible amount of data showing that saffron actually lowers depression feelings. And this is something that Revive normally wouldn't claim because they have to worry about structure claims and stuff like that. However, in this case, at 30 milligrams, this is the exact dosage used in most of those studies. So I think that you'll find a great mood benefit from this, as well as along the lithium. There's a lot of different mood benefits here. And I think that that's more than just what most people are looking at with nootropics. Not only are you going to feel focused, but you're going to feel good about what you're doing, which is important. Now, honestly, PQQ has a lot of different benefits, and we dive into a bunch of different ones in the blog, but one that I wanted to specifically call out here is pretty important. PQQ helps you generate more energy by what's called mitochondrial biogenesis activation. This actually means that you can create more mitochondria, which if you aren't a big follower of pop culture, you might not know it's the powerhouse of the cell. So this will lead to a more clean energy, which is a hard thing to actually nail down what it means, but it's going to be an energy that you wouldn't normally get from stimulants. And that's exactly how I feel when I take this. I can take this without any sort of stimulant and having a great, productive day. Revive Brain has quickly become one of my favorite products to take every morning. I keep it right on my kitchen table because every morning with breakfast, I slam a couple and I have a productive day. I would definitely recommend you try it out. I do have to say, we got this bottle for free. We do have a business affiliate relationship with Revive, and I am friends with the guys over there, and I think that they're doing incredible things. That all being said, they're taking health supplements and making them sexy. And I have to say, this is probably, I think, the first supplement that Revive is making that is outside of just like a health lifestyle product. This is something that will actually change the way you feel in the acute, which is pretty cool. I just say, I appreciate you making this far in the video. I know this one went a little bit long, but there's a lot of interesting ingredients here, and I wanted to break each one down and explain to you why this is different than the rest of nootropics out there. So I hope you take my word for it. Actually, don't take my word for it. Grab one with coupon code PricePlow and try it out for yourself. Let me know in the comments below how you feel on it. I'd love to talk to you about it and share our anecdotes and experiences together. As always, guys, I really appreciate you making it this far in the video. And as always, have a great day.